Welcome to the Business Leaders Legacy Podcast, the show where we go behind the scenes of business leaders to uncover their vision, strategies, and challenges they face along the way. My name is Chris Bruner. I'm the CEO of Simple AI Solutions and the host of today's podcast. I'm thrilled to have Anthony Byson, the founder of Anthony's Asphalt. They're known for their commitment to using cutting-edge material and techniques to ensure maximum durability and longevity on every project, whether residential or commercial. Anthony, thank you for being here. Can you please tell our listeners a little about you, your business, and the customers you serve?
Yeah, my name is Anthony Byson. I serve asphalt property owners in southeastern Michigan with our contracting business. We've been in business since 2009. I'm also a mentor in the industry, and I help people with their branding and their service-based business.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm excited to have you here today. What do you enjoy most about running Anthony's Asphalt?
Um, I love the diversity of what it takes to get the job done. That's always been something. Ever-changing atmosphere is where I do the best. Like right now, you find me outside in southern Florida, in the back of a pickup truck on a parking lot, because that's my natural environment.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's really cool. Yeah. So I wanted to know, thinking about the your company shaping into what it is today, what has been like a critical decision or turning point in the history of your business that's really helped shape the culture and shape the direction it's in today?
Um, well, I'll say like the critical decision in the infancy that led to success was my between my first season and my second season, because the Michigan asphalt work is seasonal. I bought out another asphalt company that was downsizing, and I was able to go from having like a handful of clients to literally having what over 500 clients with that one acquisition. Um, and I just was able to put my head down and work, rather than try to figure out where I was going to feed the pipeline. Um, didn't realize how critical of a important step that was. And now everything connects in the rearview mirror. And I can see how that was just such a blessing, especially during a down economy. That was like 2009 to 2010. So there was a lot of asphalt companies that were struggling, trying to figure out, trying to retool so that they could serve different service lines, because the economy was just in that tough place.
Yeah, no, that's really neat. That's cool. It definitely sounded like a good strategic move back then. So that's super cool. Um,
Yeah.
so shifting a little bit to trends within the industry, what are some of the biggest changes you might be seeing in the asphalt paving industry right now?
Uh, well, technology is starting to really be embedded into the equipment. So it was archaic for a while, and it was really behind the digital trends, like everything was not. Um, so even furthermore, the diesel efficiencies, basically everything in asphalt is diesel powered, because you just need that torque. Um, so outside of the efficiencies in the diesel motors, um, through regulations and environmental impact, we are also seeing the digitization of so many tools, and the progress that we have on the efficiency of estimating has gone like tenfold in the last 12 months.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And just to touch on that a little bit more, are you seeing specific tools or specific strategies, perhaps with the technology, with on that like side, the admin side, with automations or anything like that in the industry that maybe help with, estimating, project managing, or even like lead generation?
Yeah. So lead generation is not my favorite thing to talk about. Um, Not because it's a tough point, but because it's just I love to hire that out, and be done with it. But leads aren't, we dominate pretty hard in our local market. So I always tell people when they're like, do you want more leads? I'm like, leads aren't our problem. Like, it's really getting to them. Speed is king. And that's where I think a lot of the innovation comes in that has helped contractors like myself, is we can get to things so much faster now because everything's so visible, everything's so mobile, everything's there is automations to it where we can really get to things really fast. Like within a minute, if someone wants to do business with us, we can show them that we want to do business with them. And that leads to a higher closing rate and really puts our best foot forward. Now AI has been obviously a huge thing. So, just to stroke on your kind of in your field, in your area of expertise, we've had varying success with different things. Like the AI receptionist, we've had a mixed bag of response, right? And you're going to have that with these innovative tools. And some people don't want to communicate with the AI. Some people don't mind it. But then furthermore into like the responses and some of the chat bots and stuff. Like I said, depending on the level of sophistication and everything's getting better and better every day. Some of those tools are more valuable than others. That's the way that I look at them at this point.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, it definitely is interesting. There's a lot of tools that come out. I feel like almost every week, every month, there's new things coming out all the time, and it's really interesting to see how it is impacting many different businesses, and so yeah, it's very interesting. Um, Shifting a little bit to, just currently where you're at in your business, what is currently working really well for you guys right now? What's making you, let's just say, the most proud of your team?
Uh, I think that our front end is starting to get really dialed in, and we're really starting to give that like concierge service. Um, Communication has lagged since we've kind of grown and broke the systems of seasons past. So we're on the cusp of having that be really dialed in so that clients feel really cradled, from first call to payment. Um, so yeah, I think that's where we really shine the most is in our communication, and you'll see that kind of reverberated in our online communication with the clients, like in our reviews. You'll see people talk about our high level of communication. That was the thing that we really started with, was like,
Yeah.
this won't be hard for us to bring a really professional appeal to an industry where it's not that professional. Like that white collar approach wasn't really part of Asphalt when I started. And that's why I knew it was just going to be easy to get in and do some really to do it different.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's really interesting. So shifting a little bit, what about, every business faces hurdles and challenges. Could you share maybe a challenge that you faced and how recently and how you overcame that and what that taught you?
Um, this season was the toughest leadership season I've had. Um, it's something that I felt like I was excelling at. And God stretched me in ways that I couldn't have foreseen in the moment. Um, so, I think that would be a hurdle that I think can sneak up on entrepreneurs from time to time, because you get to a level where some of your key players are comfortable in the way that things are. And when you grow beyond the way that was for a long time, um, you get people in different, you put different pressures on key people in your team, and that can expose new weaknesses that you uh, just hadn't dealt with before. And that's what
Yeah.
happened. That's what happened to us this year. We, as we grew, and I was another step away from like the daily operations and even like upper management, then it put another stress in that communication chain. I
Yeah.
didn't see it coming,
that's definitely interesting. It's definitely a hard season when we go through seasons like that as business leaders.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's always valuable lessons learned throughout those seasons. So yeah. Well, what about is there anything currently going on? Maybe like a headache or a bottleneck, something that may take up too much time within the business right now?
Um, so our speed to lead is good, but our closing ratio is a little bit tight right now because we have I don't have the sales team built out to a way that can handle the lead flow fast enough. So that's where our key hires are next year at the beginning of the season is making sure that we've got enough like physical estimators. We do a decent amount of contracting and estimating where no one actually goes to the physical site. And it's all automated. And it's all virtual. Um, and that's been a huge blessing for us. But in order to get to the next level and to really dial our efficiency or our closing rate back into what it was, um, that's the bottleneck is sales professionals that can handle the lead flow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely is a common challenge across plenty different industries. And so yeah, that's definitely interesting. Well, looking ahead, talking about the future, looking ahead, maybe, 6 months to a year, what's a measurable goal that you guys are focusing on achieving? And what strategy are you planning on putting in place to achieve that goal?
Well, with those new hires on the sales team, and making sure that we're using AI tools to our just maximum benefit. Um, the I would say that the the biggest thing that we need to do is we need to get our closing percentage back up. So I'm looking to put 5%. We we grew significantly in our gross margins this year. So the health of the business is really good. So now I just want to look at the things that are making the health of the business really good. I want to reinforce those. So
Yeah.
it's really putting our we had it since we had a drop in our closing percentage. I want to get it back where it was. Um, and the industry average, somewhere in the 30 to 35% range. And we were just slightly below 30 this year. So we can gain a couple points in our closing percentage this year. I feel like that's really the target that we're aiming at. So I've got the admin team and the front end office is dialing in their procedures, and then I'll get the sales guys up to snuff, and we should be able to dominate.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. That's that's definitely it sounds like you got a good plan in place and ready to tackle it. So that's cool. Um, well, I wanted to when you think of like scaling in your business, how do you define its growth? Is growth more focused on the amount of projects you're doing? Is it specific types of projects, or is there some other way you define growth?
Well, I'll give you a really right brain answer. And the amount of days that I can go fishing with my children is an amazing metric for me. Um, so that lags when stuff is scrambled and I'm kind of putting together what feels like, when I'm patching kind of gaps. Um, that's the first thing that I drop off my schedule. And historically, so yeah, so there's my creative right brain answer. Uh, if I can get to go fishing and camping with my kids 4 times a month, then I'm feel like I'm doing pretty good. Um, Another mantra that has has delivered me to success in the past is that the end of the season is waiting for my excuses as to why I haven't done better this year. Um, so but to define success in, I think, an ordinary way, a leader or an entrepreneur like me is gonna look at bottom line. But the leadership and the shepherd of people that I know that I need to be in this next season will be how many people around me are winning. Um, so if I'm outlining the goals properly of the people in the business and I'm helping them achieve those goals, everything else will follow suit. Everything else will come together. Um, and and I think as businesses grow, it's easy to look at the health of the business and take for granted that you have healthy people because your business is doing well. But really, they might be the most stressed they ever have, and the business might be more fragile than it ever was. So that's what I'm trying to push that away by being, like I said, that the leader that's looking at others rather than looking at them.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I feel like having that type of leadership style, focusing on obviously, like you said, family first. That's so important, and so it's really cool and encouraging to see, you know, business owners like yourself prioritizing family. You know, that's super cool. And then also like just your employees, like looking out for the well-being of them is so cool, so important. So that's really neat. You know, earlier you'd mentioned a little bit about sales, and I wanted to touch a little bit on that. What is like a maybe a specific sales related challenge that you believe must be solved, right? I know you said you wanted to get that close rate up, but do you see any specific challenges in that specifically? Like any specific areas that are affecting that close rate?
Um, yeah, it's our lag in um, our first contact to actually doing the physical takeoff. So for us, that's the delay. If if all the sales fall onto a couple sales people's uh, like to be estimated list, then the delay is huge. So that's why I didn't have that role duplicated enough last year. Um, so we're using technology so well that we have a people problem in the technology loop. And I think that that's going to continue to be a common occurrence for businesses that need to do physical estimating in certain ways if they're not built out fast enough. So we can, because our presence in the market is so strong, visibility is good. So that means that people are walking in the door, but what are they doing once they get there? What are we doing with them once they get there? That's our problem right now. So that's what we're solving.
Yeah, yeah. No, then that's very important. That's
And,
interesting.
and there's going to be tons of problems that pop up with that. You said, what's a specific problem? I have no idea what I don't know at this point,
Yeah,
as we continue to grow. Um, what I am is I'm sure enough and confident in our ability enough, in my ability as a leader, to be able to figure out whatever happens. So one, I know there's problems coming, and two, I also know that I'll figure it.
yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. That's really cool. Well, Anthony, I really appreciated the conversation today. I think our listeners will have a great time listening to it. The insight you brought was great. Before we go, can you share with our listeners where they can find more out about Anthony's Asphalt and learn more about your services?
Yeah, our simple domain is anthonysasphalt.com. Um, we do a ton of asphalt seal coating work and asphalt maintenance. So our historic domain, which they all tie together, was sealmeplease.com. And that request that I wanted people to like, that was how the domain got cultivated. I was like, what do I want people to say uh, when I answer the phone? It was like, seal me, please. Like, just come seal my driveway, come seal my parking lot, right? Um, so that was where that that generated from. Um, but at Anthony's Asphalt on Instagram, that's where we have a huge amount of success and a huge following. Um, our content guys are doing really well. The media team's doing really well. So if you look up Asphalt on social media, hopefully you'll find us, and we're doing our job to penetrate there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. To close, I would like to ask one last question, right? Since this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast, and you, as the founder and owner of Anthony's Asphalt, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I want to leave an eternal legacy behind. Uh, you'll see in our content online that faith is huge at Anthony's Asphalt. Um, and that's what I want. I want to push people to grow so much that they realize they can't do it alone and they reach for a higher power. So that's the most important thing to me. And if I get anything right, it's that someone says, I was led to a more faithful life. I was led to a more prosperous life because of my faith. And Anthony showed me the way. Um, I won't always get it right. I'll fail a lot of people along the way, but hopefully I inspire enough that I can lead some people uh, back to their creator. That's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, no, that's so inspiring. It really is. I definitely have very similar values and definitely have a very similar want to leave a similar legacy, and so that's super encouraging. Thank you so much for the insight you brought. Again, to all of our listeners, this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the conversation, please subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Anthony.
Bye, guys.